Welcome back to Transport Fever. I'm Tech Hench, and today we're back in the big build in Sandbox mode. So what I'm doing today is actually building a motorway services, actually two motorway services. So this is towards the kind of middle-ish of the map. So as you probably already, if you've seen any previous episodes, we built this motorway some time ago. And what I'm going to do here is build on either side of the road a motorway services. So this was kind of inspired a little bit by the lay-by that I created again in a previous episode. I thought maybe just making a bigger truck stop and kind of a place where people can stop over, have a rest would be quite good. I did look for motorway services to see if someone had built one on the store, and there wasn't anything specific, but what I think at most serviceway stations, or most services, certainly on motorways, they have petrol stations or gas stations, whichever one you like to call them. So I thought if we just started with a petrol station even, that would be probably a good start. So there is luckily a petrol station on the store, which I can actually add in to the map. Actually looks really good as well, so might even see me add it in any second now. So what I wanted to do is kind of make it, just like I said, just a little of an area. So that is the petrol station there, and I'm going to put it on either side of the motorway. I was going to make both sides of the motorway look exactly the same, but kind of thought we'll make them look a little bit different. So this side, and when you see the other side a bit later on, do look slightly different. So most of the time we have kind of off ramps to the services, like so. And then normally there's a giant car park where you can just kind of park up and have a rest. One thing that I haven't found, and which I think would be probably quite a good idea, is to have a restaurant or something like that, or a cafe. I've not actually looked in the store if there is one of them, but I'm hoping there is. If you know of one, obviously leave it in the comments below, a link to it, and I'll go and check it out. We're using the car park mod here, so if you've not seen my video on mods, I do show it off a little bit there, so it is quite a useful mod and does make things look quite realistic for parking. Obviously the services are going to be completely for show, and they're not actually going to do anything. So what I wanted to try and do is kind of do a one-way street all the way around the petrol station. So you have an off ramp off the motorway, and then you kind of come into the services all in one way, and then have a separate area for the trucks and possibly buses or coaches, and then have an area for cars and things like that. Mostly because you need, obviously, a lot bigger area for trucks. So as you can see there, I've used a different car park for the trucks and for the cars. So I have painted all the ground with tarmac at the minute. I will come and change that, and I don't actually leave it like that. It was just so I could place the petrol station. As you probably noticed when you place it first time, if you have grass on the ground, it kind of all pokes through, so just needs all deleting. So that's kind of how it's going to look. So as you can see now, just come and clean up some of the tarmac that I've got. One thing I don't actually add onto the road is any signs or anything like that, so I'm hoping I've got a sign mod that can kind of point off in the direction to show there's a services there. So of course we want as many trees as we possibly can. What I probably will do in the future, so at the minute this is kind of, each service on each side of the motorway is separate. It's its own separate thing. A lot of the services that, or some of the services that we have in the UK actually go across the motorway, so there's normally like a bridge across, joining the two together. So you can have maybe one restaurant on one side and a different restaurant on the other side. You can kind of walk between the two. I think I have got actually a walk bridge for one of the train stations, so I possibly could use that. I might give that a try, I think, at some point. So we're just adding the barriers in then, so I've not actually added barriers, crash barriers at all along this stretch of the motorway. I do need to come and do that at some point, but at this point here, so joining back onto the motorway, and also when you come off the motorway, just to make it a little bit more realistic, and then just a little hedge to tidy that a little bit up. Just makes it look a little bit nicer and closes it off a little bit. So as you may have seen, this is my favourite mod, the fences mod. Have used it quite heavily in the big build. So I didn't want to put the same hedge all the way around, so I thought I would put, as you can see there, just a fence as well. So that is just a regular fence from the mod. If you do know of any items that would make this area look a little bit nicer, or anything you think would be good to add in this area, drop it in the comments below. All the suggestions that I've received so far have been fantastic, and some of them I've used, and some of them will be making appearances in future episodes. So I think a sign just to kind of around there would be quite good. Just that says motorway services or something like that. So what I wanted to do next is, this area is pretty much, or this side of the map is pretty much complete, is add some vehicles just to make it look like there's actual people gone into the services. So I already had the mod for the trucks, the models, that just static models. I also found this mod for the cars. So what I didn't realise when I'd done this side is you can actually have the cars change colour. So I end up with all the same, different cars, but they're all the same colour. And then we're just going to add some trucks in as well, just down here. We don't actually have any trucks that come along here at the minute. Maybe I should put a couple of lines in, just to make it look like there's a few things coming along. I think everything that comes down this end of the map is all taken by train at the minute. So it is towards the south of the map. Kind of in the middle-ish, but more towards the south. So just add a couple of bikes in. Quite good to stop if you're on a bike ride. And then a couple of vans as well. So again, these are all mods. Quite like the VW camper van there that we've got. One thing I didn't have is a coach. So I've used this one. Probably doesn't fit very well, to be honest, because that's more of a bus. So I couldn't actually find a coach. So again, if you know of a coach anywhere, there's one on the store or anything, if you've seen one, don't mind, just letting me know in the comments, that'd be great. just going to finish the barriers off on this side of the road anyway. And there we go, that's pretty much that side complete. So I'm going to do almost exactly the same on the other side. It's like I say, it's not going to be exactly the same. I thought that I'd keep them both a little bit different. I was initially going to make this one quite a bit bigger with the car park in and things like that, but I thought because the petrol station isn't that large, it wouldn't look that good. So it's still a little bit bigger, but I think on this bit I actually put the petrol station a different way around. Yeah, so it's actually, as you can see there, pointing towards the lake, or the river even. Maybe the only other thing I could do around here, or around the services, maybe put a couple of other service roads in. Because the only actual way in the minute you would be able to go from one services to another is there's an island, not an island, it is an island, but there's a junction a little bit further up. You have to go all the way up to there, off the junction, and then come back again. But then going the other way, I don't think you would be able to come off the motorway and then go back to the other services without going miles out, so maybe I need to have a look at that. No, it doesn't really matter, but it just makes it look a little bit more realistic. So as you can see, this one's starting to look a little bit different. Going to have the truck stop at the very beginning as you pull in. One thing I couldn't do is move around the actual parking spaces for the trucks. It would probably have been better if they were kind of round the other way. So as you pulled off the motorway, you could pull straight into a truck stop instead of having to kind of drive around a little bit weird. So we are actually having two car park areas for the cars here. Did have a bit of a problem joining that up, so I think I decided to scrap that idea and just have one car park. Did want to line up the on and off ramps so they matched up across the other side, so that looks pretty good, and as always, millions of trees. So one thing I don't know if you noticed there, if you put the barriers in first and then try and do any road modification, so connecting another road to it, the game doesn't like it and it throws up a problem. So you actually need to then go back and delete the barrier. So best to put all your roads in first and then put your barriers in after. Did have a few too many trees there, as you can see, so just get rid of some of them. That was my fault for not changing the strength of the brush. So a lot of the services in the UK actually have big giant concrete barriers. We haven't actually obviously got them, which is a bit of a shame, but I think the barriers that we've got still look pretty good. Just go and add the barriers back in and add them on the other side of the road. So one thing I do now have is a mod as well for making people actually go to a certain area. So in the previous episode I created the Glenfinnan overpass, a viaduct, and it's kind of a tourist destination. So probably next episode I will add the mod in and see if we can get people to actually go to it as a tourist destination. So this one decided to just put a hedge kind of all the way around. Because it's a bigger area. Don't know if it kind of really worked or looks any good, but it did mess up the barriers a little bit there, as you probably saw as well. They weren't quite lined up. So I'm not really sure if them barriers actually, or the fences, that type of fence is any good for this little bit. I think that's probably the wrong fence to use on the exit and the entrance. Maybe I need to just use the white crash barrier instead. So I may come back and change them. I think over here that probably looks fine. And I do actually, as you can see there, just add the white crash barrier in. Normally do have them white or the crash barriers close to petrol stations, just to stop anything smashing into the petrol station. Obviously that could be quite dangerous if that happened. So it'd be quite good if we could have something like a McDonald's or KFC. Or some sort of fast food restaurant around here. It's all this kind of stuff that I'm kind of building here. It would be quite good to see in future versions of Transport Fever. If they had a pre-made services that you could build and then people actually use it. So as you can see there, the colour of the cars are actually different. When you place one down, it just picks another random colour. It does just give it a little bit more variety. And as you can see here, so I've actually put the trucks in the wrong way around, I think. They would probably pull in the other way. Not that I know a great deal or anything about truck driving, so I might be completely wrong there, but it feels to me like logical that they would pull in that way. Just add a couple of vans in as well. And as we come towards the end of this episode, I'll just add in a few more tankers, as you can see there. And just a couple of bikes, as we did on the other side. Just to really finish it off. If you've not checked out any of my other Transport Fever videos, why not go and check them out? Also did a video on mods that I'd like to use, or the kind of 5 of them I think it was. Why not go and check that out? So thanks everyone for watching. Don't forget to give the video a like if you enjoyed it, and why not subscribe at the same time for more Transport Fever. And I will see you next time.